Hello, Prescott Valley. Bob Ticer here, your Chief of Police. Thanks for having us again for this next edition of Chiefs Chat. So you may wonder, who do we have here today to have this conversation with? Well, we have three of our awesome volunteers at the police department. So today we're going to talk about what our volunteers do for the community and how you can become a volunteer, and then a little bit of some data to go along with that. So I'd like to welcome our guests here today. Ken?
Hi, Ken Rudoy. I'm the volunteer coordinator of the Prescott Valley Police Department, something I've been doing for over 3 years. And when people want to volunteer, I'm the first one they see, and I figure out what their strengths are, because I like to put people at their strengths to help us. Just so you know, last year through 2023, our volunteers donated 8,700 hours.
8,700 hours.
Yes.
So let me do the math there. There's 2,080 hours in a yearly work cycle for somebody, so really 4 full-time equivalent positions.
That would be correct.
Wow.
And we have over 50 volunteers. We have about 20 on patrol that do patrol, and then the rest are administrative, about 30 on administrative that do various things, whether it's fingerprinting, they help with cold case, they help with records. There's just so many different things we can do with the volunteers.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you, Ken. So we have seated to your left, Carla.
And I'm Carla Scudder. I've been a volunteer with the police department for about 3 years. I work in records. I cover the front desk. I do fingerprinting, and I help Ken with some of the administrative issues.
Great. Well, thank you. Rob?
My name is Rob Nuss. I've been a volunteer for just over a year. Spend most of my time on patrol. So we do a lot of assisting with traffic at crash sites, help stranded motorists, and we do the House Watch program for our citizens here as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Since you mentioned House Watch, why don't you tell the community a little bit about what that is?
Okay. House Watch is a program the city has set up so that if you're leaving town for an extended period of time, you can either sign up online through the city's website or go into the police department and pick up a form and hand fill out. Then we put that into our system. Our volunteers will take turns going around to your house every several days and just check, do a perimeter check, make sure your doors are locked, your windows are intact. We just kind of look at it like we would look at our own house to make sure that everything's okay. So there's a presence there, and if something's not right, we will back up and call an officer in, and the police department takes it from there.
Well, that's great. What a service that you provide to the community. Is there any cost to the community on this?
No, it's an absolutely free program.
Wow.
Like I say, all you do is fill out the paperwork, sign up, and we get you in there, and that's it.
That's great. So will that work for second homeowners as well too in the community? People that have, here for a little bit and then elsewhere for the rest
We
of the
do
time?
some of that, but there are some restrictions on the program.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. It's mostly for folks that are going out of town on vacation.
Right.
Just out
Really
for a little period of time.
Yeah, there's a 60-day limit on it.
Okay.
So that would kind of weed out the folks that are gone for the entire season.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Carla, you mentioned records. I think you mentioned records because I see you all the time. Some of these folks that we have here today and the other 47, they seem like they're full-time employees at the police department because I see you around all the time. I want to say thank you for that. So it's so awesome that you dedicate your time. So Carla, you mentioned fingerprinting. Tell the community a little bit about what that means.
We provide fingerprinting on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. It is electronic capture, so we provide the fingerprint cards to the citizen. We do all types of fingerprinting except for criminal. We do, for jobs and CCWs, things like that.
And like teachers?
Yes, sir. Teachers. And the cost is $25.
Okay. And so do public members need to make an appointment to do that?
No, it is first come, first serve
All right.
on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And sometimes you can be pretty busy.
We've been very busy.
Yeah, I've noticed that. So we'd ask our community that if you're in need of fingerprints for a job, whatever that is, if it's a requirement, you can come down to the police department during those 2 days, Tuesday and Thursdays?
Tuesday and Thursday, and we
Thursdays.
encourage people to come early.
Come early. So first come, first served, but you can get on the list, and then if it's going to be half an hour, so you can wait out in the parking lot or the lobby, right? And kinda,
Exactly, and we usually let people know
That's good.
that it's going to be a bit of a wait.
That's awesome. So do they get ink all over their hands
Oh, no,
nowadays?
no. This is done on computers now with the scanner.
Yeah,
So there's no ink, there's no mess.
awesome.
It's nice and neat. The cards come out and they're dry.
And it goes very efficiently to the state database?
No,
No.
it goes, we print the cards and they
Okay.
provide them for whatever the reason, whether
Got it.
it's a CCW or employment or teachers.
And then they take that back to their
Yes.
prospective employer? That's great. Well, thank you for that. I also see you in records, so when
Well,
the public comes in.
I cover the front desk
Yes,
on the days that I don't fingerprint.
Okay.
And that frees up the records clerks. I take the money for the fingerprints, I answer the phone, I put calls in.
great. Well, thank you.
And then I help the record staff with filing and processing.
Well, appreciate that. So we've got patrol, we've got records. Ken, what else are we doing in the
We
police
help
department?
out with, like I said, we do a mail run where we run to dispatch every day with the warrants and things like that. We help facilities moving vehicles around to go in for service. We'll take them over to the service area, moving police cars back and forth so the officers don't have to do that. There's days that we fill up your car and wash it, get it washed for you. Just things to keep officers doing what they're doing that we can do that they don't have to keep them out there. We help them with, like Rob said, with crash sites, whether there's traffic control, special events that, 4th of July, Christmas, things like that. We have parades. We'll do traffic control, helping, traffic area with that, with our vehicles that we block intersections or, maintaining traffic. We do a lot of things like the fire we just had. We were out there for days
Yes,
helping.
appreciate that. So you mentioned 50, well, let's talk a little bit about administrative work too. So you said you had 20 folks handling a lot of the patrol, and you just described some of that. There's a lot of administrative work that
Yes,
you help
we
out with?
have, I know there's 2 or 3 volunteers that help one detective with cold case.
Okay,
And they're actually retired police officers. So they have training in that, so they help them with that. We have, I have a couple people that help back in evidence because they're redoing all the evidence stuff because I guess there was 3 different databases.
Yeah.
So they're, getting that all into one. So they're back there working diligently on consolidating everything and making sense, which is kind of nice. I have 2 volunteers that help at the range with our range officer, cleaning it up, maintaining it, improving it, whatever they do. And these guys are former armors. They served, whether it was in a prison system or something else. I mean, they have backgrounds in that. Like I said, I try to do that. I have 2 volunteers that are working on emergency management procedures. And one of them was a Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department captain, and that's what he did. He headed up the whole unit. So we got some great talent.
we do have some great talent. So you described a lot of folks that have background in law enforcement. Is that a requirement to become a volunteer at the police department?
Not at all. I was a contractor for years. I had no background in law enforcement, had nothing against it, no desire ever, but no, we will train you to do it. It was kind of funny how I got involved. Was my neighbor was a volunteer at the PD, and he got me involved one day, and here I am. He's still involved, and I thank him for that. But it's quite interesting. It's fulfilling giving back to the community, because we do give back and we do help the community.
You sure do. So the background for our community, if you're interested in volunteering, I know for one, and these folks could talk a little bit more about it, but we have former Army officers, we have executive level administrative people, we have contractors, we have truck drivers, we have administrative folks, we have retired police officers. We have folks from all walks of life. And so when somebody comes in to volunteer, how do you find the right fit for them in the department?
Well, usually when they apply, there's an application process which you can go onto the town website and click on the link to get to in the police department. It says apply for volunteer. So what happens is once you apply to become a volunteer, I make an initial phone call and get you in for an intake interview to discuss what you do, what you want to do, maybe how you want to help us. Some people don't want to be out on the street with the patrol. Some would rather work in the office. Some would rather be out on the street. So I try to match them. I'm not going to say you're going to do this. Let's find a place for you, a home for you that you're going to be comfortable with. And then I show them around the police department and show them what we're like, just so they know what they're getting themselves into, because it might not be something once they get there they like or dislike. So I don't think I've had but maybe 2 or 3 that applied and said no thank you. Wow. But we do try to place them, and I try to introduce them to as many people as I can on the first day, as the chief will tell you.
That's great. Well, I appreciate that. So as we're talking about volunteering, we don't pay you, do we?
Not at all. But if you want to, I'll take it.
If we did, I would owe you all a lot of money, because I see it around a lot at the department. Sometimes I thought maybe you were working full time there, because I see a lot. So I guess my point there is it seems like you really enjoy coming to volunteer at the department. So maybe, Rob, if you could talk a little bit about why do you do this? I mean, you're obviously giving your time back to the community and the police department. Why do you do this?
Well, Chief, you know, I have a lot of respect for the officers and the command and admin staff at the police department. They do a very difficult job that a lot of people don't understand, and even fewer could actually do themselves. I couldn't do it. So if I can do something to help in some minute fashion, that has value to me.
Great.
So that's why I do it.
Well, thank you. Carla, why do I see around records all the time when I walk in?
I was a dispatch and records manager for 21 years for a small police department. And when I retired, you know, you need something to do. So I figured the skills that I have and the knowledge, that's a good place for me to go. Keeps me out of trouble.
Keeps you out of trouble.
Keeps me out of trouble.
I would have never thought you were in trouble.
I get to meet lots of interesting people. So that's why.
Great. Well, we're so happy to have you.
Thank you.
Ken, why do you do this?
Pretty much the same reason. It's to do something, to give back, which I've always done through my whole life, whether it was rebuilding flooded houses or, you know, coaching softball or whatever. But it occupies time. I mean, to sit there and watch TV all day, I'm not a book reader. You can ask my wife about that. It gives me something to do, and I enjoy this. It's kind of crazy. I come in, I look forward to coming in, and my sister makes the joke, "You're going to your free job." Yes, I am. I enjoy coming here more than I ever enjoyed any job I ever had that paid me.
Wow.
And giving back and meeting the people and understanding, like Rob says, the officers, and doing a job that I could never do. And, you know, when we get thanked by the citizens and by the officers, by the whole people in the police department for helping them, that's a great sense of feeling there.
That's awesome. So thank you, all 3 of you, for everything you do, for supporting the police department, the men and women out there. It doesn't go unnoticed. It's so appreciated. We thank you a ton for that. And to the audience out there that's listening, we're always looking for new volunteers on the department. You should see that on the screen here during this segment today on how to do that. You've heard a little bit about it from our guests today, how to apply. You can always call the phone number too and talk directly to Ken. I know he's very responsive to those calls. So we'd encourage you to do that. And if you see our volunteers out and about or in the lobby, please say hello to them and thank them for volunteering and all the great things you do. We greatly appreciate it. So for those of you out in the community that have listened today, we appreciate you attending another Chiefs Chat for Prescott Valley, and want to say thank you, and we'll see you on the next edition here soon. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.